Hi everybody, welcome to TimeWaRpArT. I am finally doing the bracelet video that everybody's been wanting me to do. The paper bead bracelet, crochet bracelet, okay, in my earlier video, Paper Beads 101, I tell you how to make the beads and I basically show you how to do the bracelet. Well, I'm going to do a detailed video now and show you how it's done. As far as size goes, let's talk about that for a second. As far as size goes, these two bracelets are done a little bit differently. This has 6 beads around and this one has 5 beads around. They're slightly smaller and I prefer the 5 bead around myself. That's just what I like. And they just slip on. They just roll and slip on and they're like a bangle, okay? As far as size is, now I make mine 8 inches long because I have a tiny wrist. I have to buy children's watches to get the band that I need, so I have a tiny wrist, so I make mine 8 inches. And what you do is you measure, you make a fist and you measure at the widest point around, and that's how you determine what size you need. That way you'll know that it'll slip over your hand, okay? So that's how you figure that out. You'll have to excuse my inky fingers. I was playing in my art journal earlier and using my dilution spray inks, and we're a little bit messy, and you know, it'll wear off in a couple days, but I forgot I was going to do the video tonight. So. Okay, anyway, most people take 9 inches. That's the average I've come across. Most people take 9 inches. So, you know, just gauge for yourself what measurement you need. But like I said, you measure around your fist at your widest point, and with a tape measure or string or whatever, and you'll get your measurement that you need. Okay. Like I said, this one is 6 beads around, this one is 5 beads around. I myself prefer the 5. You can do patterns, and I have given away or sold all of my other bracelets, so I have no pattern to show you, but you can do light, dark, and do that 6 beads around, and you'll get a striped pattern, which I can't show you because I don't have one. Okay, so let's get started. Once you make your paper beads, and I'm not going to go into that here because I've already done that, like I said, in Paper Beads 101 on my channel. I'll try to remember to put a link down there in the description box to that one, but if you just go to the channel, you'll find it. Okay, so let me set that aside. What you want to do with all of those beads, and I got this little container before anyone asks. I got this little container at Dollar Tree. They come a bunch to a package. So you're going to make 250 to 300 beads, okay, depending on your size, and you want to get them all varnished and everything, okay? All right, what you're going to do with those is string them onto pearl cotton. This is pearl cotton size 5, and you can get a skein of that at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, you know, Joann, whatever. But it's just pearl cotton. That's all it is. And I've wound mine around a piece of paper towel roll. Okay, no biggie. Make a slit. Okay, you make a, let's see, yeah, you make a slit. Let's see if y'all can see that, inside, outside. And your roll, stick your end in, you wind it around, and you're done. Okay. All right. And I've got the end of it sitting in a little paper origami box. So that's just where mine is right now because the beads are in the bowl. So you want to string all of your beads onto your pearl cotton. Get a tapestry needle, and if you don't know what one of those looks like, got one here, all right. Tapestry needle, which is just a blunt end needle with a large eye. Okay, I'm going to set that over here in my little dish. I've got a little tray I made from a doll house tea set. Stuck a toothpick down to the tray so I make 2 little divisions in it, and a piece of leather on top. Just glue it down, and that's my little bead tray. Okay, so I've got some tools in that. All right, over there. Okay, so as far as crochet hooks, I use a B crochet hook. This one is a BOYE Boy brand. I guess it really doesn't, make too much difference. But as you can see, it's an H is a normal standard size crochet hook. This one is an E, and the one I like to use is a smaller one, the B, only because it helps me grab the thread a little bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do, once you get all of your beads, and you want to string them all on, and what you're going to do as you work is push your beads down the string. So here's all the beads strung on. Here is my ball of thread, okay? And you can get these in a ball or a skein or whatever. So what you want to do is you're going to make a slip knot, and if you don't know how to make a slip knot, you just have to watch me slowly. I'm not going to explain it. It's just too simple. Okay, slip knot like so. Hold the knot, put your crochet hook in, and slide it down. Okay. I'm not going to teach you how to crochet, guys. I'm just going to show you how to make this bracelet. All right. So I'm going to do 5 beads around. So I want 5 chains. So I'm going to chain 5. And chain 5 loosely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to join in a circle. Okay. Join your circle to both loops and pull it. Okay, so there you go. Now what you want to do, you want to grab some beads here. And I pull up a couple inches at a time usually. You want to get those, pull those all the way up towards your needle. I know you probably can't really see this, but you get the idea here. Okay, you can see this, right? Okay. So you want to pull some up and then hold them with over your index finger so you can reach them with your thumb. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring one of the beads down close to your hook, and you're going to loop over, bring it through that chain. Okay. Next, you're going to go through the next chain, and you want to make sure you have 5, so count them. So go in, bring a bead down, move those out of the way, go around, come through both loops. Okay, and it's a little tough at first because you know that's your beginning chain. It always is. All right, you bring down the next one, go over, go through both loops, bring down the next one, go in your chain, come through both loops. Okay, that's 4. I need one more bead to start with my base. Bring it down, go through, grab it, well, keep the bead back here. See, it helps to hold with these 2 fingers here. You hold the bead with those guys. And like I said, excuse my inky fingers. And bring that one up. Okay, and if you pull too tight, you're going to have trouble. You heard the little pop. Okay, so there's my 5 beads in my base. Now, don't pull this yet. It's helpful to pull it later, not yet. Okay, now what you're going to do to start your bracelet, what you want to do is you've got your hook. There's the first bead you put on, all right? So you're going to take your hook through that first bead. Move that little guy out of the way for a minute. Okay, through the first bead. You're going to slide that bead over to the right so you see 2 loops on your hook. And I'm sorry I don't have a different color of hook, but this is the best I could do. I don't have a blue one this size. Okay, so push that over, bring the next bead down, loop over, take it through both loops, and now you've begun your spiral. Here's your next bead right here. You're going to go through that bead, push it to the right. You can see your 2 loops on your thread. Bring down another bead, push it to the back, go around, 2 loops. Okay, same thing. Next one. Go through that bead, push it to the back, bring down the next bead, go around, bring through 2 loops. Okay, now you get that established, and usually what I'll do is I'll use if I'm going to put it down, I will use a knit stitch holder, safety pin type. You could use a safety pin, paper clip, whatever, to keep your work from coming unraveled. Okay? Alright, now I'm going to put this one down. I'm going to get one that's a little further in progress. Okay, I've got this one established. This will be a lot easier for you to see what I'm doing. Here's my tail. And as I was telling you about that tail, once you get an inch or so done, if you pull on this tail, it firms everything up around here on the bottom. Don't pull it too tightly, but you want it firm. Okay, just so it doesn't go anywhere. And it just makes it easier for you to hold it. Okay, so I've got my stitch holder here, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring some beads down and show you with this one so you can see exactly how it lays, because it takes about an inch to get established so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and stick my needle in there. And I had the stitch holder through both loops, and if I quit watching the camera I could see what I'm doing here. There we go, got them. Okay, there it is. Alright, so I've got some beads up here. Alright, and I just finished that one. Okay, so what I've done here is I've taken it through the next bead and slid it over, bringing a bead down, loop over, bring through 2. Now, if you look carefully at this, you can see how the beads are starting to lay. Okay? They're kind of at an angle. So there's one that's tipped up and one that, and in the other end tipped down, so you can see that it's laying at an angle. Okay? It'll straighten out in a minute. Look at the rest of it. Okay, let me point this out to you. Alright, see how these are kind of straight? The ones that you just finished are going to be at an angle until you hook the next bead on top of it. Then they will straighten out like this. So you're not doing anything wrong if you notice that this is at an angle. It's supposed to be that way until you hook into it with the next row or next round. Okay? Okay. So let's continue. Alright? Got another bead coming down, but not yet. Okay, so you want to pay attention to where you're going. Okay, the next bead that's at an angle is right here where my tip of my needle is. So you want to go under that bead and pick that up, slide him over to the right, and see how I did that with my middle finger? That's exactly what you do. Slide it over to the right, and you can see you can see this blue thread a lot better. You can see the 2 loops on the hook. Slide your bead down, yarn over, well, not yarn over, but you know, good thread. Okay, anyway, pull through 2 loops, and there's your next one. All right, the next one that's at an angle is right here. I'm hoping you guys can see this clear enough. Under it, push it over to the right. Here's your thread. See where your thread is. Look where that thread is at. Okay. Here's the bead I just crocheted. This one is the one I'm moving over. Now I'm going to bring down another bead right in there, loop over, pull through 2. All right, I'm going to do it again. Next bead, push it over. That one kind of went by itself. Bring the next bead down. See where he's sitting? See that? Between the 2 loops? See where this thread is? Okay, push him down in there, loop over, pull through 2. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Loop over. Next bead down, see where the thread is. See that? Look where that thread is. Okay, it's right there. Loop over, pull through 2. And it's kind of hard for me to watch the camera and this at the same time, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm going to trying to do this, so moving it at different angles so you can see what I'm doing. Bringing this down. Stay down there now. You two, back over here. Make them behave. There. And now just watch me, okay, because if I can, I go too soon there, if I can just maneuver things normally so you can see. Okay, next one around, etc., etc. Okay, so that's how you do the bracelet. That's how you make the bracelet. Now everybody wants to know how you end. Okay, let me go ahead and put my stitch holder back in here because I've got a third bracelet ready for y'all. So I'm going to move this guy. Okay, now here's the third one. All right, now he's already at my 9 inches. Okay, I'm making this for someone with a larger wrist than mine. And so he's already at 9 inches. Now you probably can't get that whole thing in the camera. This is as close up as I can get the camera. But it's already at the 9 inches. Okay, 9 inches. Move the ruler. Okay. Now, you have to do an end before you completely end. You have to do an ending round. Pardon me for just a second. Got an allergy problem. Okay. All right. Now, you're not going to add any more beads once you get it to where you want it to go. So put your hook back in there, and let me show you the trick of this. All right. You want to push your beads down to the end of your thread. And you're not going to pick up any beads, but you are going to manipulate the ones that are there because you want to straighten them up. Okay, you want to get them straight. Okay, let me see if I can hold this a little bit closer. This is kind of a fiddly part. Okay, so you're going to still do the same thing. You're still going to go under the bead and move it over to the right, but you're not going to add a bead. You're just going to loop over and go through the 2 loops. Okay, 1. You just keep doing that. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Now that straightens them all up. Now you want to go into that loop that's right there, and you'll see the loop. And this is where you want to draw it up. Then I'm going to pull a long tail, and I'm going to give myself about 12 inches more or less to play with. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that, if I can get it where I want it here. Cut it and get rid of that, and then I'm going to snug that up. Okay, so I've snugged it up. Now I've got a long tail over here, and I've got a long tail at the back, and I'm going to secure my remainder of the beads on here so they don't go anywhere with a slip knot on my knit stitch holder, and I'm going to put that aside. That in a container over there. All right. Now we're going to put away the crochet hook, and we're going to get the tapestry needle because we need to make these ends come together. Okay, now If you look at the end of this, everything is spiraling. And I have found that it doesn't matter where you end, because you can twist it a little to manipulate where your spiral is going to meet. So do that right now. Play with your ends and see how it's going to fit. Okay, so I've got mine right about there. I didn't have to twist it much. So right about there, it seems to want to fit together. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle on, and then I will do that again, and I'll know where to stitch. Ah, okay, that's not going to work. This needle's a little smaller than the one I usually use, but that's okay. All right. Something else I like to do before I do that is I want to go through and loop over all those threads so that my thread is kind of sort of coming out the center. So I just made one little loop inside there and coming back out. Okay? All right, now I'm going to grab my other end. I'm not going to worry about this tail right now. I'm just going to get it out of the way. So I want to go ahead and play and see where I had this a minute ago to see where it's going to fit. Because these beads kind of have to snug up to one another. And so what I want to do is, and this is going to be really hard for me to explain it. It's easier just to do it. But the way I do this, it's kind of sort of like ending peyote stitch. It's zigzagging in and out of the beads to try to firm them up all the way around. And then you can't, I want it to look like this part over here where they're all, you know, going around and they're straight. That's what I'm trying to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is the closest point where my thread's coming out, I'm going to look for a bead that's lining up with it. See that one right there where my thread's going across it? So I'm going to put my needle into that bead right there and pull it up. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to go to his neighbor. Okay, if you can see this right here, I'm going to his neighbor right there. And I wish these were a solid color so you guys could see this a little bit better. And that other tail's getting in the way. Get him out of the way. And I'm going to pull him up. See how that snugged this one right up next to it? Okay, so now I've got this one. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go into the work and snag a loop and pull it back out. Okay, then I'm going to take it down through the next bead. So I went up through this bead. Let me see if I can get any closer at all. Okay, I went up through this bead, up through this bead, into the work and back out. Now I'm going down through this bead. And like I said, this is going to be really difficult for me to show this to you guys, because just to tell you, it's easier just to watch me. Now I'm going through the one that's across from it. And I'm going into this bead. That's the next step up. See where the thread's coming out? Right here. I'm going into this next bead next to it, but over to the left a little bit. So we're still going diagonal and diagonal and diagonal. Okay, so I got that one. All right, so we're moving from right to left, in other words. Okay, so here's this one up. Now, being the second row up, we want to go down into the work and grab another loop on the inside. We can find one. Grab another loop. There's one. Just catch one. It doesn't matter, you know, too much which one it is. All right, so you've got a free thread now. It's not in the bead. It's in the middle of the work. Okay, we're moving to the right. Now we're going to go back this way. Okay, now we're going back this direction. All right, so the next bead that I see that the thread can go into is this one right here. The next one I want to go into is this one right here, because here's this bead, here's this one on the diagonal next to it. So we're still doing the zigzaggy in and out, but we're trying to keep the beads lined up. All right, so pull that one. Okay, the next one that wants to go into it is right here. See that one right there? See where the thread's coming out? Okay, there's the bead next to it. If you notice, the end of this bead and the end of this bead are going to be close to each other but not stacked. See how that's snugged up? Okay, now this is where it gets a little tricky because you have to turn everything. Once you get to this point, you have to turn your bracelet so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so moving to the left still, from right to left, where the thread is coming out, this is where it needs to go, right into this bead. Okay, you see that? That's right into that bead. And you can see why I'm not doing this live, because I cannot possibly watch chat and do this at the same time. Okay, so we're going to snug that up. Okay, now this one needs to go into the work and out and snug everything up as you go along. See, that one wanted to pull away. We need to snug him back up. Okay, now we are going into this bead and into this bead, because there was the end of it right next to it. It wanted to go right there. Okay, now here's that other tail. We want to keep that out of the way. Just move it to the back. Keep it out of your way. And I'm doing my best here, guys. I really hope you can see, but, you know, I'm doing the best I can. Okay, so find the next bead that wants to be close. All right, and there's that tail. So now I'm going to come back into that bead. I went in this bead before, but I'm going to go into it again because that's where the thread wants to go. Okay, he wants to go in there. So I'm going to go up here in that one, go down in the work so I can turn around. Now I'm going to come back towards myself into this bead because this other one wants to get in the way. So I'm going to go back into him and straighten him out. Here's that other tail. Just move it out of the way. We'll worry about that in a minute. We want to get it together first. Then we'll worry about that tail. Okay, now I'm going to have to turn it so that it's on this side so that I can get these beads together. All right? So what I've got coming around here, let me double check and make sure that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what I want to do now is go into that bead that I went in before, move the tail. Oh, he's gotten looped up in there. Get out of the way. I'll deal with you later. Alright, so I'll move that one. And I'm going to go into this one. Go into the work. And make sure you're catching previous work and not the one you just went out of. Alright, going back the other direction. There. Into this little guy because he's still loose. See if I can get him. There he is. Okay. Get him in there. Now I got to manipulate the bracelet just a little bit more. It's hard to hold at this point. It's really tricky. You just have to do the best you can. And snug everybody up. Go down into your work. Yeah, not the outside, but the inside your work. And pull up, try to pull up something that you can grab onto. There he is. All right. Now we're going to go back the other way through this one, and we need to line this little guy up again. Yep, there's that tail. Line him up. I mean, I don't know how to, do this any better because it's really hard to see. Go into your work, go back the other direction. Now it's really tricky at this point because you're almost back to the beginning at this point where you're working kind of inside the circle. So you kind of have to figure out where you're at and try to get everything snug as you can. This is the trickiest part because you've got threads that might be showing, so you want to snug everything up as much as you can. And my shadows, see, I can't, I'm having trouble holding it so you guys can see. But I'm trying my best, so you guys are just going to have to bear with me. Go inside the work and come back. And you're just trying to line the beads up. That's the only way I can think to explain it to you. You're trying to line them up. Now I got to turn it over here because I can't pull the needle out. Okay, so now I've got to go through this bead. Try to line them up. Okay, now let me see where I am. Okay, I seem to have all the way around. And once you get it twisted, it should pretty much line up where you want it to go. Okay, now to end, I'll go up into the bracelet about 3 beads. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to make a knot in the middle. So you got to kind of spread it a little bit and grab a thread that's inside and pull. Go through the loop, make your knot. Then you want to bury it. So you go down in your work to the other side. Bury your knot. Okay? Then wherever you came out, go through another bead, make another knot. So you want to go down and grab a thread, not 2 threads, just one. A thread, do that same loopy knot thing, bury your work, bury your knot in there, in your work, okay? And then I do it one more time. But now I'm going back the other way. So I go this way, and then I go this way. Now when I end peyote stitch, I go 3 times zigzaggy, but I'm not going to do that with this. It doesn't really need it. Go down inside, grab another thread, make your knot, pull tight, go down inside, and bring your thread out the other end, or the other edge, or the other side, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now you've got this thread hanging here. You've knotted off, and you're good. So you want to take your tapestry needle off of that one. You can go ahead and cut it short because we're going to cut it off in a minute. Okay, now here's the other end. Let's thread the other tail because we have to end him off too. And at this point, what you want to do is make sure that you've got everything tight. And if it's not where you want it, use this end to fix it. Okay? If it's not lining up, you might have to maneuver a little bit and mess with it a little bit to get it to line up. And when it's looking pretty good, then you want to go ahead and end this off. And if you've got, see, I've got a place right here that I'm not really happy with. So I'm going to go up past it a couple of beads. Okay, I just went 2 beads up. Now I'm going to make a loop. I'm not going to knot, I'm just going to do the turnaround. So go down into your work and turn around. So now I'm going to come back towards that place I don't like. Okay, and I'm going to go in through and do the zigzaggy thing. So one over here, one over here. All right, just keep doing it. Until you can get down to where you're not happy, and then grab that bead and pull him up. All right, and then you're going to go zigzaggy onto this side and pull him tight a little bit more, and see he edges right up there. That's where you want to go. Okay, now you can finish. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and go past it 3 beads and start my knot sequence and go the opposite direction. So I'm going to go down in here, grab a loop, make the knot, pull it, go through to the other side, bury the knot, come up and grab another loop down inside and make that knot, and the other tail is getting in the way, and go down past it and like that. Okay, and now I'm going to turn around, just do a turnaround, loop under, and I'm going back, and I'm going back through 2 beads this time and make my final knot. So I'm going to go down in between all the beads into a thread, knot around that thread, and go down in the center of the bracelet and bury it. Okay, now I'm done. Alright, now I can trim off both threads. The reason I didn't trim off the first thread, and I do this with all of my beadwork, the reason I did not, you want to pull it tight and snip it. You do not want to put your scissors down in your work. You pull that thread tight and snip it close. Okay, the reason I do that, clean up here, is lost my train of thought. Now you remember what I was saying. Hello. Anyhow, there's the finished bracelet, so it's all done. All done. It's just a little big on me, but that's okay. Here's the other one. Let me take it off here. I don't like my bracelets to be too big. See how? See? And if you'll notice that the one that I usually wear, this is my prototype. This is one I've been wearing. It gets softer as you wear it. See, this is kind of stiff right now. But as you wear it, it'll soften up. And it stretches just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So you want to make sure you get that original measurement right. Okay, I hope that you guys understood that. If not, please let me know and maybe I'll try again. But I think that's got it. Okay, thanks for hanging in, and hopefully that's clear as mud. So I'll see you guys around. Thanks.